Hi guys, welcome back to a page in the chapter, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Paige. I like to read a lot of books and then talk about them here on this channel with you guys. And today we're doing a book haul. So I don't do book hauls very often on this channel just because I don't buy books in bulk, and like saving them up to do a book haul just doesn't feel like a book haul. If I'm gonna do a book haul, I would like them to be books that I've acquired kind of all at one time. That rarely happens, so I haven't done a book haul in a very long time. But today we're doing my birthday book haul because I'm sure, as you guys saw from my past two videos, I turned 21 last week, so I've got about 40 books to go through with you guys. The actual tally is 38, but we're just gonna call it 40. My tea is very hot, but I want a drink. It's good tea. Essentially, this video is divided up into books that were gifted to me on my actual birthday, and then the Saturday after my birthday I went into London to do a little bit of book shopping, and I'm including those in this birthday book haul as well. If you guys like what you have seen so far and you would like to see more, why not hit that big red subscribe button down below and stay tuned for future content. I have some very exciting videos that I'm like in the midst of planning. You guys can also check out my 21 books in 21 hours vlog that went up last Friday, and that is my favourite video that I have ever created. So if you haven't seen that yet, you might want to subscribe and like check that out. Why not? Without further ado, let's start talking about the books before this video becomes an hour long. Let's start with the books that I actually got on my actual birthday, because these are a strange mix. So the first books that I got for my birthday were The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. These like very like sweet leather bind-ups. Let's actually open them, shall we? These are like leather and very floppy and very fun. They do kind of remind me of like little Bibles. My parents were very focused on like keepsake kind of books for my birthday this year, so rather than just getting me like books off my wish list, they kind of got me like first editions of books or like collector's editions of books and those type of things, which I really appreciate. So these are really small and tiny, and whilst I love them, I don't know if this is the best way for me to read the books. You guys can't see, but like down here I do have like a full-sized, normal-sized paperback of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and whatnot. So I will probably read them in those forms and then just have these as like keepsakes and things that I'm proud of. If I do ever have the money to move out, then we can have like a whole little like display of like keepsake pretty collector's edition books. I really love the feel of these. Like they would be very nice to read. I just don't know if I would enjoy such small pages. And then along the same kind of vibe, we got some of, what are these called? Some of the Game of Thrones books that are also leather bound and like Bible-y. Now if you guys remember, in my anti-TBR tag I did say that I would never read these books were on my anti-TBR tag, but that's just because there were so many of them and I didn't want to buy them, and it's a very daunting series and I just hear that everyone dies and it hurts. So I don't really know if I'm ready to jump into this series yet, but these are absolutely beautiful bind-ups and they are definitely welcome on my shelf. Why not? I think my boyfriend also expressed some interest in these, so if I can actually get him to read a book, this is a win. I will say though, again, these are literally Bibles. Like they have Bible pages. Like these are so thin and like Bible-y. I don't think I could read such a massive fantasy in this form, so I might have to go out and buy like the bigger version of the books just for the reading, because these are very much just for the sitting there and looking pretty. It's such gloomy, rainy, autumn, cup of tea, fairy lights and reading a book weather, and unfortunately I have to work today. It's always the way. This next collection of books may seem a little strange. So for backstory, as far as children's books go, I think Enid Blyton books are the best that there are. I absolutely adored reading Enid Blyton's books when I was a kid. I loved the Famous Five. My favourite was The Wishing Chair, and I remember reading The Adventures of the Faraway Tree at school. I loved them. So I got a box set of The Adventures of the Faraway Tree and The Wishing Chair, and these are like new and cool, and I know they're way too young for me, but I am really excited to reread these, especially The Faraway Tree, because I've reread The Wishing Chair somewhat recently and I'm not even upset. I'm not even embarrassed to admit that. I just love them. And then these are far are more cool. These are like super old editions of Enid Blyton books. There's some of the famous 5 in here, just like really random old collection of Enid Blyton books. I'm thinking of potentially just having like an old book square on my shelf, like maybe one of these squares can just become like really old looking books. These are also really handy for Bookstagram, not to like make everything all visual and aesthetic, but old looking pages do look nice in the back of Bookstagram pictures, so this was just a fun little like keepsake to have. And the next books that I received, I'm a little nervous to discuss. They might not be taken so well, but the next books that I got is a collection of the Harry Potter books, and I have a mix of the different Hogwarts House editions. Now, just to clarify, I did not ask to receive these books. I would not buy from J.K. Rowling myself. I wouldn't fund her, support her, or anything like that. However, I do love the Harry Potter series. I grew up reading them as everyone else my age did, and for over a year now I have wanted to reread them, but I haven't, because apparently 10-11-year-old me, however old I was when I read them, didn't buy a full collection of books. So I'm missing the Half-Blood Prince, and Order of the Phoenix is a mass market paperback that doesn't match the rest of the series, so I haven't been able to reread them, and I've really wanted to. And I didn't ask for these books at all, but I guess my dad noticed or heard me talking about the fact that I wanted to reread them and couldn't, and so got me a full collection of them in the House editions. My personal favourites for the House editions are the Ravenclaw ones. I think these are absolutely beautiful, and they've got the sprayed edges. I also do particularly like the Slytherin ones as well. I only have one Slytherin, one Gryffindor, 2 Ravenclaw, and 3 Hufflepuff. They don't necessarily match now, but they match in a don't match kind of way. So yes, I'm extremely happy to have received these books. I think they're absolutely beautiful, and I can't tell you how excited I am to get to reread them, but I just want to clarify that I didn't ask for them, nor would I have bought them had someone else not bought them for me. The actual last book that I received on my birthday was Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Malinda. This is a book off my wish list. It was a fantastic choice because I am loving it. I started it as soon as I opened it. I was so excited to receive this. I'm only exactly 50 pages in, but I can already tell this is going to be like a 5-star read. I'm gonna love it. Hopefully it doesn't get like dull or slow or anything in the middle, but 50 pages in, I think it's a 5-star prediction. So the Telegraph Club is a lesbian bar in the 1950s, and our main character, Lily, is dealing with her sexuality in a very unsafe time to be dealing with her sexuality, and she's also Chinese American, set against the backdrop of the Red Scare. So there is a lot of like socio-political history interwoven into this book, and I am loving reading about it so far. I'm learning so much, as well as just thoroughly enjoying my read. I am desperate to sit down and get a good chunk of this read today. And so now we can get into the books that I bought on Saturday. I dragged my whole family into London and we went to the Foyles on Charing Cross, which, if you don't know, is an absolutely massive multi-storey bookstore in the centre of London. And by multi-storey I don't just mean like 2 or 3 floors. I'm pretty sure Foyles has more like 4 or 5 floors just full of books. So I dragged them there, and I think I got 8 books on Saturday, which is a lot of books. So the first 3 books that I got are the His Dark Materials trilogy. I did not watch the BBC show of this. I have seen The Golden Compass, but when I was very young, and I don't remember any of it. So I will be going into these pretty much blind. I think the covers of these are just absolutely stunning. I really can't wait to read these. I know they are a very beloved series, and I think if I'm going to be on BookTube I should probably read these really massive, classic, well-beloved series. I was originally only going to pick up Northern Lights because I figured I've never read anything from this author before. I haven't ever seen anything from this series. I don't know if I will like it, so I was just going to pick up one, and then my dad was like, no, get the whole series so you have the matching like hardback set. He was just kind of like, I think if you only buy one now, you'll probably buy the rest paperback and you won't have a matching set. So there's also absolutely so many editions of this book out there. I can see myself like just accidentally buying the wrong one. So these are gonna look super nice on my shelf. I'm gonna have to do a massive reorganization of this shelf. Book unhaul coming soon. The next book is a book that has been on my wish list for probably the longest amount of time. It was one of the very first books that I added to my wish list, and that is Caraval. This is a well-read book. on BookTube. Everyone seems to have this in the background, like visible on their bookshelves. I've heard some very mixed reviews of this though, but I thought that I would give it a go for myself. It sounds really interesting. It sounds a little bit like it's going to be kind of similar to The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and I loved that book. Very excited to get into this. So Caraval is an annual performance where the audience is allowed to get involved, and our main character desperately wants to go and see it, but when her controlling and mean father arranges a marriage for her, she thinks that she has lost all chance of ever going and being able to see it. However, when she runs away and goes to see the show, she is kidnapped and forced to compete in a game of love and magic. So very much Night Circus vibes, but I think this has better reviews than The Night Circus, so I'm very ready for this. And then along this vibe I also picked up Finale. However, I was really dumb. I didn't realise that this was a trilogy. To be honest, I thought that Caraval was a standalone, so when I saw Finale next to it, I was like, oh, Finale must either be a spin-off or the sequel, and it's a duology. So I picked up Finale, but there is a middle book that I now don't own. My own brain was being very dumb and didn't think to look inside the books to see which book came next. But I'm also blaming Foyles, because Foyles only had Caraval and Finale next to each other on the display, so maybe they should have mentioned that there was a second book in the series. So the next book that I picked up, I don't know a whole lot about, but I have seen it kind of floating around in the bookish community, and that is City of Brass. I think this is the book where like now a certain edition of this book goes for an absolutely ridiculous amount of money. I think that's how I've seen it. I think Twitter was complaining about how expensive one of the editions of this book now is. So I don't really know much about what this book is actually about. I only read the first 2 lines of the blurb in the store, and the reason that I picked it up is because it's set in ancient Cairo. I absolutely love fantasy books that are set in ancient worlds, and so I saw this and it immediately went onto my pile. I was so excited about it. Our main character just wishes to leave this world. She wants to leave Cairo. She doesn't want to be a part of it. The tagline for this book is "Be careful what you wish for," so I'm assuming she's gonna find out she's like magical in some way, or she's gonna get embroiled in some kind of plot. I love those kind of fantasy books. This cover is absolutely beautiful, so chef's kiss. Very happy that I found this buried behind a load of books in foils. The penultimate book that I picked up you are not going to be surprised by, and that is Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. I buy a Morgan Matson book to read every single summer. I've been trying to stretch them out over the longest period of time, and now the only 2 Morgan Matson books I have left are Second Chance Summer and her new one, which name I can't remember, but I will put on the screen. Foils didn't have the new one, and to be honest, this was kind of higher up on my wish list and interest in reading anyway. I've heard super good things about this book. I actually don't know what it's about, but it's called Second Chance Summer, so I'm assuming there's some kind of like second chance romance or friendship or something in this book. As soon as we have a sunny spell of weather, I am whipping this book out. I'm so excited to read it. I adore Morgan Matson's writing. I think she writes family elements in YA so well. Like there's never a huge amount of like angst or drama or hating of families in her books. They're just very cute, normal teenage relationships with family members, and we love to see it. So this is next up on my list. I've heard very good things. I'm very excited. And finally, this next book, every single time I have walked into a bookstore for the past 6 months, I have picked up this book and then put it back again without buying it. And so this time around I was like, no, we're going to pick it up and we're going to buy it because we're clearly very interested in it, and that is A Winter's Promise. So this is a book that I believe is a French best-selling fantasy novel, and it has now been translated into English. It's a trilogy. They all have beautiful covers like this. So this is about our main character, Ophelia, love the name, and she has the ability to travel through mirrors and to tell the past of objects just by looking at them, and her position in society is threatened when she is offered a marriage by some kind of threat from abroad, basically. I don't know much about this book if you couldn't tell, but I just think these books are absolutely beautiful, and if you see them in Waterstones or foils next to each other, all the books in this series look absolutely stunning. So I was finally just like, yes, I'm gonna pick up this book. We're not going to put it down this time. I think it's going to be a super fun YA fantasy. I can see myself binging this series. I do need to start finishing some of the series I start rather than just starting new ones. But hopefully if we binge this, it can just go on and off the TBR very quickly. I can't pick up all 38 books in one go, but here's a good chunk of them. Here is my birthday book haul. I put quite a dent in the wish list, which is good. I've got a lot of like books to read now, which is good fun. Since moving back home from uni, I've been like really wanting to read, really motivated to read, but not really having a lot of books on my TBR here. The only books that I brought back from uni were my books to read for my 21 books in 21 hours challenge, and I then read them in a day, so then I kind of ran out of books to read. Thank you guys very much for watching, especially if you made it this far. If you did make it this far, why not hit that big red subscribe button down below, because you clearly don't mind what you see. And maybe if you guys really like this video, I can try and work in some more book hauls into my regular content. If you guys have read any of these books and you have any thoughts and opinions, spoiler-free thoughts and opinions, please feel free to add those down below in the comment section. I absolutely love talking about books. The reason that I'm on this platform is just to chat about books with you, so if you are interested in becoming booktube chatty friends, then feel free to let me know some of your thoughts on these books, so it might help me order the ways in which I read them. I do really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very, very much for all of the birthday wishes. I had a great birthday and I really appreciated all of your messages. I hope you guys have a fantastic reading week and you enjoy everything you are reading, and I will see you on Friday for my next video. Bye guys.